Welcome to Brand News, the podcast. I'm your host, Charlotte Emily, a fashion podcast sharing news behind brands. Each episode will speak to people from within the industry to get a better understanding of their job roles, as well as discussing the latest fashion news. Welcome, Simona.
Hi, thank you.
I'm so excited that you're here. I literally cannot wait to get this conversation started. Simona, you have a really impressive background with jobs at Nike and Zalando, which I would really like to dive into. However, let's start with your current position, which is that you're the co-founder of the O Collective.
Yes.
Can you tell us what the O Collective is?
The O Collective is a platform, but also a brand that stands for intimate wellness. So we started 2 years ago with just 4 girlfriends. It started with a girls' night out, talking about intimacy and relationships. And we just discovered that a lot of people around us explored intimacy or experienced intimacy and relationships and pleasure through their partners, always by satisfying their partners, but never really satisfying themselves. Mm-hmm. And we wanted to cater to that, to nudge each other, to satisfy ourselves, to bring pleasure to ourselves. And it started with content. It started with nudges, a little community where we told people like ourselves, hey, touch yourself this week or try this with your partner next week. And it went from content to products. And these days we have a broad range of sexual wellness products, for instance, vibrators and lube, but also very comfortable period underwear and everything from mood setters to sex toys, just to give that little nudge to everybody around us to cater to their pleasure and intimate wellness.
Nice. The community part you said, how did that start? So you said it was for friends?
Yeah. It was very organic. Yeah. So we all worked at Nike in Shanghai 2 years ago.
Okay.
That's where we met. And we were colleagues, but also friends. And we just also had a very broad friend group within Nike, a lot of girls, but also their partners. And we would go out for, it was called Hump Day dinner. So on Wednesday we'd go out for dinner, dinner and drinks with the girls. And it started with that community. Yeah. It was always the 4 and then of us, and then a lot of friends of us that came along as well. Whoever was available. Exactly. Yeah. Whoever was available on Wednesdays, they would come along. We would have a very big WeChat group. In China, you have WeChat instead of WhatsApp. And that just started to grow. So organically, that community just grew to, a couple of 100 people. And then we started an official account where we started to write articles. So we just very organically gathered this group of mostly women that were interested in, hey, how do I make it more exciting for myself, but also for my partner in the bedroom? And it was this trusted community of girls together.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you were working for Nike at the time.
Yeah.
And we're now in Amsterdam and you are from the Netherlands. So you moved for the job. Yes. What is it that you did for Nike and how come you moved over there?
I started I've always been a brand digital manager. So I started in Hilversum, very close to Amsterdam in the Netherlands. It's the European headquarters. Started in Northern Europe. So doing all of the D2C and wholesale online business for Nike itself and also our partners. So
business,
for instance,
as in
e-commerce business.
Yes, okay.
So we did online marketing, also looked at e-commerce, any brand digital campaigns, we would lead that. Or actually in the beginning it was very small, it was just me, but then Nike started to focus more on digital. So throughout the years that team started to grow very big. But in the beginning, when I was in Northern Europe, it was literally just one person. I went from Northern Europe to Western Europe. So that was the geo then for the Nike team. And then I had a really, really nice boss, a very good mentor actually. And I told her that I had this lifelong dream actually to work in China. And then she's like, well, we have offices in China. So if you're interested, I can send you to China. So after 3 years working at the European headquarters, I was sent to Shanghai and I led brand digital there. D2C. And it's a little bit of a different environment. It's still brand digital. But whereas we here have D2C and wholesale business, in China it was mainly D2C business and our business on a marketplace platform called Taobao and Tmall. There are not a lot of wholesale partners there. So still digital, but just through a different lens there.
Okay. And for Zalando, you did the same. So that's your background in the fashion part.
Yeah, it's always been on the online part. Zalando is an e-commerce company. And with Zalando, I joined as an intern just after my studies and joined the online marketing team. And I think we were a very small team, a team of 4 or 5 people who first ones to roll out Zalando Netherlands. I think it was the first little country that they tested out with to expand their business with.
Really?
So it was in that team. It was a real startup.
Really good.
It was very good. It felt like being on a college campus and in the meantime also needing to work, but very flexible, very nice, very young people. Yeah, it was a good experience.
Nice. And how did you experience moving abroad for the job?
I love it. But it started earlier already with Zalando. So I had to move to Berlin, which was very organic. So from Amsterdam going to Berlin, it's not that far. It's a 5-6 hour car ride. And very often I would just drive down to Berlin. And then I actually love being abroad. And then you live in this little, I think, expat bubble. You meet a lot of new people. You go out to experience new things. And then... whereas maybe in your home country, you always have, you have your friends, your family, and then it's this person's birthday, and then you have other obligations.
Baby showers.
Exactly. But you move abroad, and then the only things that you have is your work that you can focus on throughout the week. And then after work, it's okay, you can go explore the city or you meet new people. So I really love that of going abroad, and then you kind of can let everything loose and just focus on the experience abroad, whether it's work-wise or meeting new people, seeing new things. So I love that. Both Berlin for Zalando, came back from Nike to Amsterdam, which was nice as well. It has a very big expat community. So I still had that experience here. And then to Shanghai, it's like I'm Chinese myself, but it was still like an entirely different experience, both work-wise, but also exploring the city, exploring the country. So
because you'd never moved there. You'd never lived there yourself.
No, I was always going back during the summers to visit the family, but never worked in China.
Yeah. Nice. How does it come about from starting this community with the 4 of you, 4 friends, and then making it into like an official company?
That was also very organic. So we just started with that little content community, interviewing people, giving each other nudges. And I think we were just playing on the side, and we thought, okay, we see that there's a lack of products in China back then. Like we wanted to buy products for ourselves, for our friends, and something that wasn't intimidating.
And then, sorry to interrupt, but products you mean
sex
vibrators,
toys.
sex toys.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Just like little nudges for yourself to explore yourself. Sometimes people were too afraid to use their hands or bodies, or you just wanted to put something there as a reminder to explore yourself. And we thought just having a little toy there could be such a nice nudge or reminder. But when we ventured out in Shanghai, going to stores, also searching online, there's so much, how do you say it? Crap. You can't say crap, right?
You can swear all you want.
There are just a lot of there are a lot of shitty products in the market, and we'd visit factories, but we'd also buy them online, and the quality was very shitty. The entire branding was shitty. And, we come from Nike. So you kind of you're already brainwashed with, everything needs to be on brand. It needs to look beautiful. Yeah, it's about the experience. But then when you buy a toy, it's such a terrible experience. And then we wanted to buy it for our friends in China, and it just didn't exist. So very organically, we said, okay, let's try it ourselves. So we started with just 2 toys because we just wanted it ourselves and give it to our friends. And then we just saw, there are more people who are interested in it. So we started our own content pages. Well, the girls were already on Instagram. We're like, okay, we'll just put it on Instagram as well. And just little by little, just creating more products on the side of the job, and also creating more content.
So always focusing on that community part. Whilst growing the business.
Yes, always focusing on community, focusing on the feedback that they gave us. Also getting input from them again to search for new products. Definitely always going back to the community and see what they liked or not. And then eventually we got a pull from, I think we had a friend who put us in, what is it called? A fashion journal. It's a fashion trend journal. And that's where Selfridges picked us up.
WGSN.
Yes, that journal. So we were just lucky that we had somebody who really loved the brand and the products, and they put us in there. And then we were spotted by Selfridges. So Selfridges then approached us saying, hey, we love your brand. We love what you stand for. Also the story behind it. So we love to take your assortment in. So I think from the point of Selfridges approaching us, we started to realize, this could maybe be something bigger.
Yeah.
And we should maybe give it a little bit more attention than what we are giving it now. And that was last year, February, March. So from then onwards, we started to actually treat it as a real project, a real brand, giving it our all.
And did you then also quit your jobs?
So I already quit my job with Nike a little bit before. I was doing other things on the side, but the girls were all still with Nike, and they all one by one quit. So Eden was the first one to quit, and I was beginning last year, and then Wingsy followed towards the end of 2022, and then Diana's the last one who left Nike this year. We're already at the end of this year. So she left February, March this year. So it was all one by one by one. We also organically.
Yeah. And you mentioned in a couple of articles, because I've read some stuff about you guys, that you operate in a very men-driven world.
Yes.
Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's also when we started to do research, right?
Yeah.
And it started in China, going out to stores, trying to find products, always men. There were always men in those stores trying to service us, and you just don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, don't we feel comfortable with that? Then the next step was, okay, let's see, let's approach the factories. Factories are all men. They're all owned by men. We have not met one factory that is owned by a woman. They might have a couple of female employees in there doing sales, doing on the production line side, but not manning the factory. And then we also saw still a lot of designers are men creating the toys for women. So we were perplexed by that. Also, when we're doing our research and writing our business plans, we looked at the competition, and 95% is men. It's men. Like the traditional brands, whatever is the bigger brands that you see in the market right now, they're all started by men. And
interesting.
Serving
and that's
women.
Something that you didn't know before.
We didn't know. No, we didn't know. We know about sex toys, but we didn't know about this entire industry. And also when you go to the expos. So we also went to expos, and it's drama. It's all men, and you would think like, well, that was our understanding. It's serving female pleasure. But if you go to the expos, there's a lot of men. There are a lot of sex dolls, and there's some things that you see there that are like, it's not PG-13. You see young women as dolls, but also the saleswomen there. They have sales girls just like selling cars. They are dressed very sexy, and they're there to approach men, probably directors of other intimate wellness companies or sex toy companies to make them close the deal. And it's a very heavily male dominated industry.
And besides it being male dominated, how do you feel like you are doing it differently?
Well, just with the team already. So we're a 4-female team. The community is all, I don't want to say all, but most of them are they identify as women. Yeah. And their partners as well. Everything to do with partnerships, working with freelancers, working, for instance, with pop-up stores. Most of the people that we work with are females or women, are actually people who would buy our product, test our product, or use our product. Yeah. And of course, we work with men as well, but it's such a female-dominated industry or product for us that we do want to make sure that whoever we're working with understands the product and understands who we're serving and what our needs are. And sometimes you can talk to them, and there are so many knowledgeable men and skilled men in the industry. So I don't want to be negative about that. But there are also a lot of men just in the industry because they know sex toys sell.
Yeah, for the money.
They're in it for the money. Okay. And of course, you need to run a business as well. But we would like to combine it and do something good with that as well. Really so serving women. Yeah.
Every episode we'll highlight some of fashion news headlines. For this episode, I wanted to highlight the top 5 of the Oak Collective achievements. You worked with a female-owned Dutch chocolatier and created chocolate-covered superfoods that turn date night into an unforgettable experience.
Yes.
You sell your products worldwide, including big names like Sephora, but also high-end fashion store Selfridges. The O Collective has been featured on acclaimed media platforms such as The Economist, Women's Wear Daily, Cosmopolitan, Elle, and Nylon. You've had pop-ups with sneaker stores like Patta and Maha in Amsterdam, and you were present at a retail expo, Seek Berlin, earlier this year. So from the outside looking in, you're really present in the fashion world. Is that a deliberate choice?
Yes. We wanted to take the seediness out of it. So we do see sexual wellness as part of your wellness. It's not a silo in itself. Like if you can communicate with yourself, but also with your partner, and you're at ease with yourself, your own body, your own pleasure, we do think that it also impacts your wellness. So it's like meditation, it's like workout, it's like food. It's part of your wellness and lifestyle. So instead of positioning ourselves and putting our products in, in the red light district in Amsterdam, which is perfectly fine as well, but a consumer like us, the four of us, for instance, but also for you, we don't necessarily go there to do our wellness shopping there. So we just approach it from that side, thinking, okay, where do we shop as a modern day woman? And those are the lifestyle stores. So naturally we were thinking, okay, if we see it as part of wellness, then we want to be present in lifestyle stores, and fashion is part of that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So for example, Selfridges, you've done like amazing pop-ups there and events, and you sell there. What kind of brands are you sitting next to?
The pop-up at Selfridges, for instance, it was on the ground floor on Oxford Street. So you would walk in, and I think on your right-hand side, that was a pop-up. And next to the pop-up, we had Louis Vuitton, we had Celine. So it was all at the high-end fashion part of the store.
That's amazing.
So they put us very prominently on that floor, just also to nudge to the consumer that, hey, this is not a taboo anymore. This is part of wellness. This is part of lifestyle. And they were proud of it. They put very big on the store as well that it was a sex and sleep pop-up. So very proud of it. At Maha, for instance, which is more, we're in their cafe part. So we're featured next to the homeware part, but we're next to the candles, there's Snow Peak. We're at a store in Rotterdam as well. We're next to Kinfil, homeware as well. So there's a lot of homeware, but and also the fashion part, like next to the Nikes, our previous employer, just integrating into fashion.
And I've noticed personally that when you do a pop-up, you also host events.
Yes.
How is that? Because I can imagine that people that would, for example, go to Selfridges, maybe they find it a bit exciting, or it's like a bit nerve-wracking, like for someone to go to like a sex pop-up. How is that?
I think it's being well received because how we approach the entire segment or the brand is we're creating a very safe environment. So even with the workshops that we organize, most of the workshops that we've organized, they're in a closed off environment. And they're intimate groups. So it's not very big. It's maybe max 20 people. Sometimes it's only 10 people, depending on what type of workshop it is. So you're creating a very safe environment. There's no nakedness. People like you're leaving your clothes on, and and I think we just work with people and brands that feel comfortable, or that are not intimidating, and that are approachable, and people already know. So most of the brands and the people that we work with, they're already authoritative in their field, and people already know them. So that also signals the trust.
How would you like to continue like this narrative that you're setting, like working with fashion brands and in that field? How do you foresee that for the future?
I think what's only going to get bigger. I think we're just at the inception of sexual wellness being part of wellness and lifestyle. So right now we're just present at a couple of stores and some bigger stores, also at some e-commerce stores. But I think looking a couple of years down the road, we'll be hopefully not only we, but sexual wellness is, you know, you go to the Bijenkorf here in Amsterdam and you'll be at the beauty segment and you'll see our products there as well. Because, or you go to, you're going to do your nails, or you go into a spa and you see sexual wellness there as well. So fashion definitely as well, but we just see it as part of lifestyle and wellness. So everywhere that, every place that touches lifestyle or wellness, we just see sexual wellness being integrated there as well.
Definitely. And you also mentioned that you have period underwear and lubes.
Yes.
Is that kind of how you envision your collection to be like, what you are offering now, or are you thinking of expanding?
So for this year, we're only 2 years old. This year, our focus was, okay, make sure that we have a fundamental assortment. So if you're looking for toys, that we have the toy that you're looking for. And then for next year, we want to make sure that whatever we have is of the highest quality. So we'll be optimizing on our current selection. The loops, the underwear, the cleaners, I think, yes, that's also part of intimate wellness. So we'll be producing that on the side as well. The core focus of our brands is still sexual wellness. So that will be kind of our hero, our signature collection. But then we do want to serve women in all stages of their life cycle. So we'll be looking at, okay, hey, you have your period. So period underwear there, lube. Maybe in the future, it's going to be menopause or it's fertility. So it's not only sex, but it's everything around intimate wellness that we want to be known for and want to serve women with.
Yeah. In the beginning, we spoke about that you started it in China, so with the 4 of you.
Yes.
And then you've obviously now moved back, and as you said, you're only 2 years old. How was that? So moving the company, because I can imagine you founded the community there, and then you moved back. Like, how was that?
I think the key word in this entire narrative is organic. It was very organic again.
We need to count how many times you said
organic. It's organic. Girls were in China and I moved to the Netherlands in 2020. And it was during COVID. Couldn't go back to China. So I was like, I might as well just like start to dabble a little bit on a European market, see what the interest is here. So it was just like a little test. And then of course, Selfridges came as well. And we just saw that there was traction. As soon as we were featured at Selfridges, they had a PR department reaching out to The Economist. So we were featured in The Economist. So the ball just started to roll on the European side. Or very organically, we started to see demand from the European side. And it was also 2021, 2022, where we saw that demand in Asia slowed down because COVID was experienced entirely differently in China versus here in Europe. People were locked in their houses, but there was no delivery. Even if you wanted to deliver our products, if you wanted to order our products, it couldn't be delivered. And that was for, I think, almost half a year. So Europe was kind of our backup plan. The girls were all locked up in their houses. I was the only one who was actually free to roam around here in Europe.
So you were the only one out of the 4 of you being in the Netherlands. The other girls were in China.
Yes, they were all locked in their houses, and it was COVID.
Insane,
and then I think we also saw that there was a decline in demand, but also just in general, the approach, the interest towards sexual wellness, it's there. People are very, very curious, but there's still such a big taboo on sexual wellness, on sex toys, on the entire industry. So we saw that we're a small team, we're 4 people. So there's more traction in Europe. So we are going to ride that wave of traction here in Europe first, but also our vision is still to bring it back to Asia, because we think we can have a bigger impact on the girls there in Asia, because they're very interested. It's just like they need more contact moments. They need a longer time to think about it. They need more education. And we're such a small team right now that for us is not possible yet. Whereas here, people already know the sexual wellness category and they know kind of what it means, and they're open to explore. So it's easier to approach and to grow the community here. But we think maybe in a couple of years that we've established a real brand, that we can bring it back to Asia and that they're ready for it then. So, and in the meantime, after COVID also, the girls also they quit Nike, and then 3 out of 4 of us, we have partners, and our partners were also moving back to Europe. So organically, we also moved back to Europe right now, and we're operating from Europe.
Yeah. You've only been doing this for like 2 years, but
2 years live here in Europe.
Everywhere. Yeah.
That's because we're in the same circles, probably. Living in our own little bubble.
That's true. Yeah. Amsterdam is for sure a bubble. Yeah. You touched on it a little bit, but I was wondering because, well, you and I have talked about it before, that an Asian upbringing is maybe different, or not maybe, is definitely different than a European upbringing. Yes. Can you speak more about, or can you tell me more about that, and also then how starting an intimate wellness brand fits into that?
So when it came to sexual education, there was no sexual education. Nothing at all, if I think back about it. My parents are Chinese, Wintonese. They came to the Netherlands when they were 18 years old. And their only goal in life has been earn money, make sure that the family is okay. So like many Chinese people in the Netherlands, they start their own restaurants. So that was their core focus. And then make sure that your kids go out and study and become whatever, a lawyer or a doctor or whatever. So in terms of sex education, it was never there, but I grew up with a big group of Western friends. So I got my sexual education from them, and I made sure that it never blended. I knew that I couldn't go to my parents talking about sex or relationships. They were very much against having a boyfriend while I was studying as well. So even though I had boyfriends, it was always in secrecy.
Okay.
And then I think I think this is also a stereotype. Sometimes you see memes coming by that Chinese parents, they don't allow kids to have boyfriends or their daughters to have boyfriends. And then at one point they'll be asking you, so you graduated. When are we going to see any kids? Where's your husband? You need to get married. Whereas they were so strict before that to tell you, you're not allowed to have a relationship. Sex, no, don't think about it. And they were so strict about it. And then there's a 180 degrees turnaround, and then they'll start asking about when are you going to start your family. So when it comes to my parents, there was just never any talks about it. The O Collective, how we started, was very organic. I told my parents about it when we started it, and they were like, you're crazy for leaving your job behind for a well-paid job in Asia where you're treated as an expat, and it's all new for them as immigrants.
Was it a difficult conversation?
No, because they knew that I always wanted to start something myself already when I switched jobs from Zalando to Nike. I've always been telling them, hey, I might, because I come from an entrepreneurial family, I'm like, I also want to try out something myself. But just because I was given so many nice opportunities along the way, I couldn't really say no. But then in China, meeting those 3 girls, and then just having the opportunity to start something myself, they knew it was coming. They just didn't know it was going to be a sexual wellness company. But when I broke the news to them, the quitting Nike was fine to them. They were like, okay, then go. You have enough years to test out what you want. So they were very open about that. And when I told them about sexual wellness, they were like, okay, if it brings in money for you, go ahead and you just try it out yourself. And I think I'm quite surprised that how open my parents have been about it. My mom has helped with she told her friends to order our products, and they've ordered our products, even though they don't use it, but they will order the products just to support the business. My dad had a van in the Netherlands, and he was in China back then. So I asked him, can I cover your van with the O Collective branding with a very big vulva on the back? And I made it very clear to him, this is a vulva. So the van has a vulva on the back, and he's like, it's your business, and if you want to use the van, go ahead, and then just do with the van whatever you want. So we now have an O Collective van sponsored, and it's not sponsored, but he's still driving the van. He came back from China last year, and he's still driving a van with a vulva on the back. So they've been very supportive, and I'm quite surprised about it. Yeah.
Was it the same for your co-founders?
Yes. All of their parents have been very supportive. I think. Yeah, Eden's mom ordered a batch of vibrators to give them as Christmas gifts to their employees. Diana's dad has been very supportive as well, although he was worried, of course. All of our parents are worried. They're like, you come from such a high regarded job, especially in China, where Nike is like the holy grail of, oh, you're in corporate and now it's stability, so you should stay with this company forever. And then all the Chinese parents are like, oh, it's such a waste that you're throwing your career at Nike away for starting this for your own company, which can be a big risk. But I think now 2-3 years into the journey, they've all been very supportive. They've all been also very helpful in their own ways to support us or the brand. Yeah, and it's been great. I think because they also see the bigger goal of not only just producing the toys, but that we're also actually helping other women or other people out there to explore themselves, to get in touch with their own bodies. And they do. We've told them that, and I think that they do understand that part.
Yeah. Do you feel like people also kind of identify with the community because maybe of the background part and of the being Asian part and the being a girl part, like that is all, as you said, like it's a men-led category and this is maybe new. Yeah. Do you feel that is also how you've kind of gained the community?
I think so. Definitely, yes. Yeah. Also, if I would just approach it by myself, I wouldn't join a community led by 4 men creating toys for women. It would just not be credible. Yeah. And I think we do create this safe atmosphere for other people to join the community. We're putting our faces on our packaging, so it also says something like, you pick up the packaging, you turn it around, you see 4 girls, we're like, okay, I'm interested. So I do think that the story helps, and we've had people also approach us saying that they feel so much more connected to us because we have a podcast. We are very open about discussing our intimate lives, sex toys, using it, and just destigmatizing the entire topic. So I think it definitely helped.
Nice. How do you kind of see maybe 2024 in terms of sexual wellness and fashion? Like, what are your plans? What are you working on? If you can share.
I actually we've had really good experiences with the pop-ups and with the partners. Everybody's been very supportive. We are still a e-commerce company, so most of the time we're just sitting behind our laptops, most of the time not even together, we're in our own co-working spaces or at our home offices, so it's very nice.
Remote.
Exactly. So it's very nice to do these pop-ups and actually talk to people and see their appreciation for the brand, picking it up, feeding the toys and getting the immediate feedback. And once they buy it, also getting that feedback back from them. And also just with the partners, there's a lot of serendipity. I think we did this pop-up with Selfridges, and then you have the economists come in, but we do Patta, and then there are other brands coming in, other buyers coming in, people just browsing around, and they're giving you tips, or they're like, oh, I know somebody else that you should really talk to because they could be of interest for your brand. So that's
kind
been
of
really
networking.
Great. Networking in a way as well, just putting your brand out there, because we talked about this earlier, but we as a sexual wellness brand, we have a lot of censorship. When it comes to sexual wellness. We can do advertising on Meta. Google advertising is very limited. Even when it comes to organic posting, we need to be very careful. So these brand partnerships and being out there in real life really helps to get the brand out there and to get connected with our community and with people out there.
So what you mean is that if you post something on Instagram, it gets pulled down? Yeah.
So if you, as a normal post, most of the time it's fine, unless it's too naked or there's too much sex content on it. Instagram will pull it down. But if I want to go out as a brand and advertise, so sometimes, you go through your stories or you scroll through your feed and you see an ad from a brand, we can do that.
Is it then the words that you use, or just the fact that you...
It's a category.
Both. Oh, okay, it's the category.
It's the words, but even if we don't use the words, we just use an image. Meta or Google, they will crawl your website and they see that your website has sexual wellness on it. It has toys on it. And then toys are theoretically grouped in the same category as tobacco and alcohol and gambling. So all of these products and services you can promote on platforms such as Meta, also on TikTok or
How do you feel about that?
I think it's very old-fashioned and outdated. I can't understand for drugs, for gambling, for instance, as well. But we as a company where we have a mission to to bring wellness, to explore your body, to optimize your own wellness and how to make a relationship better with your partner. I don't think there's damage there.
So it sounds like to me how you're saying it now, like it's just more educational.
Yes.
That's how you would kind of
It's educational, it's wellness. It's kind of like, you also have lingerie brands out there. You can also advertise. So it's I feel it's very skewed how they are approaching this entire industry, because there are now so many more brands popping up who are treating sexual wellness really as we haven't been educated about it for such a long time, and we're now trying to make up for the time where we didn't get the education. So there are now a lot of really nice brands popping up, and we're all being punished with the same rule by Meta that, hey, your product is the same as any shady, low quality product from AliExpress, and you can't advertise. Well, we're on the mission to empower women, to bring pleasure, to improve your relationship. So it's unfair. We feel it's very unfair, but we're trying to fight our way through it, find some, find different ways to get our brand out there. But these digital platforms are not making it easy for us.
You're doing an absolutely great job, and I'm a real fan of your brand. Thank you so much, Simona.
Thank you as well.
Yeah, it was great. So much to learn about this category. It was really great. So thank you so much.
Thank you for taking the opportunity to let me talk.
Oh, of course.
Thank you. Yes.
Thanks.